Yeah, Bang Bang Rahul. It still hits me a bit about my son. The time they come to kill me, yeah? They definitely come to kill me, without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, I just come back from the caravan and I pulled up outside my place with my Laredo Jeep and walked upstairs to see my son. And my son was right pleased to see his dad, you know. He's only about 15, 16. And he said, listen, what can you do with kids that want to smoke? I mean, the worst thing is try to stop them because they've got to stop themselves, haven't they? So he said, Dad, can you get some cigarettes? So I said, all right, mate, yeah. So I walked across the road to get some fags. I was gone for about 10 minutes, maybe even a bit longer than that, yeah, into Kingston Shopping Centre. And when I come back, I noticed that my Jeep had been shot up. I didn't know it was shot up at first. I thought someone just punched my wheels. But they shot my wheels and they done my windscreen, side screen, everything, yeah. I went, what? I can't believe it, mate. So I rushed through my back garden and the big bull mastiff was in the garden, going mad. I rushed past him, rushed up the stairs. I noticed all blood on the patio, yeah, loads of blood. I went, wow, what's going on? Shouting at my son. And there's all blood. I know the massive kitchen. My kitchen was absolutely massive, 22, 24 foot long, wide as it was. It wasn't huge, yeah. And there's blood everywhere. And I'm shouting out to my son, Jay, Jay, you know, and I can't hear my boy. And I run up these stairs. I had these big gates, yeah. You had to go through to get upstairs. So I opened the gates and I could still see the blood everywhere, yeah. And all of a sudden I heard, like, you know, it was my dog. And she'd been shot. And she was the back of the settee. And I was just so, you know, like, I wanted to get upstairs to see my son, if he was upstairs, right upstairs. And my son's shouting out, Dad, get out of the house, they've come to kill you, yeah? And they shot my bedroom up as well. There was all bullet holes in the wardrobe and everything, yeah, shot my bedroom up. But my boy hid in a place that I made for my safe and other things, and you couldn't get in there. It was all padlocked up. You couldn't get in it from the other side, all locked up, everything. You couldn't get in it. So my boy was there. He'd shut all the things up, shut everything up, metal rods come down, everything. They couldn't get in there. And he's screaming and hollering. So I said, come out. You know, he come out. He said, Dad, they come to kill you, mate. He said, they shot the dog. They shot the dog, Dad. And then I run down the stairs. I mean, to see the bedroom shot up is enough, yeah? And when I run downstairs and I see my dog whimpering, and she'd been shot twice through the side, yeah? And she was like in bits. The police was all over the gaff. I could hear them, motors flying around, you know what I mean? They pulled around the back, and all the gun squad come up, yeah, I mean, it was everywhere, you know. So, get on the floor, all this shit, you know what I mean? They said, look, someone's just killed my dog, come up and shot my ass up. I said, I don't know what it's about, you know. But I had a big bag of money on the side that I went down to just get. Anyway, that was left there, yeah. And I just said, look, I don't know what's a mistake or what it is, but someone's come in my house and shot my dog up, killed my dog, and my son was hiding. And perhaps if my son hadn't been hiding, they'd killed my son. I was going mad, you know what I mean? And when I walked outside and I showed them what they'd done to the Jeep, under this van, there was two guns. There was an automatic and a revolver, you know. So they took them out. The automatic was empty, but the revolver had 3 shots in it. So obviously, that was for me, you know, the revolver, because the automatic sometimes jam up, yeah. So it must have been for me, but they missed me. And you know, the old boy talking, asking questions, and do this and do that. And my son's come down petrified. My son's white with fear. Come on, he's a young boy. You can imagine. I mean, he knows his dad's a bit of a gangster, but when you get people coming in your house with guns, run up the stairs and start firing. My son's there and sees this person who runs away and runs up the stairs. And these person, I mean, if my dog hadn't have been there to protect my son, would they have killed my son? Because the dog was going mad. That's why they shot my dog. And and obviously when you got a dog who's been injured, that's worse, isn't it? It's like a lion. Once you injure an animal, that's the worst part of it, and they go mad. So that saved my son's life in a way, yeah. I mean, after that, everything was a blur, yeah. Everything around me was a blur. I become mad. I become like a walking bomb, you know what I mean? You can imagine not knowing when, where, how, or whatever it's going to happen again. They shot my motor up, so I had to get that fixed. I had another motor, I had a BM convertible that Danny had, but I used that because she was around her mum and dad's house, me fell out. And when I phoned her up and I said, listen, I said, someone shot the dog. And she went started crying, this, that and the other, and, that was it. And then I thought it was something to do with her dad, that he'd come up to do me, the people come up to do me, because me and the old man's always having logheads, and he'd come up to do me, and these people don't realise that the dog, and they shot the dog up, yeah? And is it still today? Did he come to kill me? Because, me and him have gone through so much. Now, come on, it's like, I can understand, like, I'm with his daughter. Danny is absolutely stunning. And he's just that little bit older than me, maybe a year, 2 years older than me. But you can imagine, can't you? I'm with his daughter, She's got everything she possibly wants. We got, at that time, we had one child, that was my boy Sonny, yeah. Later on, she had Ruby, yeah. But my Sonny, you can imagine if my boy was there, Sonny was in the house at the time with my Danny. I'm pleased God that she wasn't in the house with my son, because you never know what they might have done. And Danny being Danny, she's a bit nutty, like her mum and like her dad. She might have pulled something out on him, because my Danny knew in my place in Kingston where I left things. So she could have easily pulled out something and shot him, because that's how my Danny was, that showed up. So I'm pleased really she wasn't there, because she'd have let him have it. She wouldn't have cared, Danny. She'd have just shot him, right? And I never had automatics. I'd always have a revolver in the house, never automatic, because they always jam. So the revolver was always loaded up, yeah, and it's a 5-shot, and and that was it. And my Danny, they're lucky, as I say, they're lucky she wasn't around, because she would have done that. Showed her doubt, she'd have shot him. And then after that, everything, motorbike, I was on it, a motorbike pulled up, I was on it, car pulled up slowly, I was on it, went walking down the road, I was on it, any cars, I was on it, everything, I was like a bundle of nerves, but you're waiting for it, and so you're waiting for something to happen. And then on top of that, there's me and the old man, who start having fights, real bad fights. And, I'm giving him stuff. He's not paying me. He's taking liberties, and he go around to get it. And he starts, my Danny went round to get it, and he just give my Danny abuse, come out to bash my Danny up, and she smashed all his toes with the gate. Took the car, come back round to me, him telling me that all the stuff's in the boot. And when I open the boot, there's nothing in it, and he's saying, well, you've nicked it. And she said, mate, that's what you've done. You're going to blame me, but you've nicked it all. It's down to you now. He said, I've got you recorded and all that shit, yeah? Anyway, when I eventually go round to see him, I really I'm going mad about the whole situation, everything. I go round to see him. I know I've said this before, but it's a little bit different, Go around to see him, and he's there with some people, some nasty people. And these people have given me grief on the phone before. And I'm on about giving me real big grief, you know what I mean? About they're going to come around and do this and do that, you know? Because when you're with gangsters, you become a gangster, innit? You know, so I'm with a big company anyway. The old man's a gangster as such. I mean, he was with that Jimmy Moody, you know, and Moody wasn't about, I'm lucky Moody wasn't about at that time, you know. I mean, the old man, he got nicked with Jimmy Moody when they done, well, I know he used to work with Jimmy Moody when they were up north and robbed all the big companies up there, you know, the vans up and all the vans up and all that for the wages. So the old man was a proper gangster, a proper villain, you know. And me and him, what made it even worse is when he came out of prison and I went round to see him around the house, it was like, you know, he didn't show any animosity against me. It was quite nice, you know, but obviously so, he said he'd heard about me from when he was in Parkhurst, what I was like in Albany. And I used to take door handles off and rip things off the doors and all that. I used to take door handles off in Albany, not to take the door handle, but there's a pin going through in the middle of the door, and I used to whip it out, yeah, and it's to pop out. And I used to take the door handle off like that, yeah. And yeah, just snap it. So I was a force, you know, I was a bit mad, a bit of a force for the old man, yeah. So when I actually see the old man, I shake his hand. I shook his hand like a man. And you could see the pain in his face because I really shook it hard to let him know who I was, you know. And in his face, you could see, like, you know, they loved to drink in that house. They loved to drink. They had beautiful glass. The glasses they had was worth a fortune, his glasses, mate. Proper beautiful glasses they had. And I, he'd say to me, do you want to drink? I go, no, I don't drink, mate. You know what I mean? And then Danny would be drinking with him, we'd be laughing and joking. I said, come on, Dan, we're going to go. And she said, I'm going to stay with my dad for a little bit of time. I said, I'm going anyway. See you later. And I'd go out the house and just walk home because it's around the corner. When I walk home, maybe 4 or 5 hours later, Danny walk in pissed as it comes, and me and her start fighting about the old man, how the way he is. And the time that he nicked all the stuff out of my motor, and I went round there with these people, and I look at him, and I call him all the names under the sun, and he's telling me to wait there. I ain't going to wait there. So I went walking down the road, you know. Listen, I knew what the old man was like, you know. And it's dusk, it's a hot, sunny day, and I walk down the road, and it's, I come down the road with a pair of shorts on, I think I had, and a vest on, or a T-shirt, and walking down the road, and I'm in the middle of the road, and I look round and the old man's standing there, or walking down the road towards me, with an overcoat on, with a 3/4 length overcoat on. So what's he got under that, you know what I mean? He pulls his thing out, and he fires it. It comes right by me, yeah? It could have been a yard past me, but he sounded it was like there, yeah? And, cool, that was it, mate. And then he shot me again. He shot it again, and it skimmed my shoulder, and the power of it hit me on the floor. So it must have been quite a big caliber gun to knock me on the floor. And the old man kept walking towards me and firing his gun at me, yeah. And I was gone. I was running towards my motor. It was just round the corner. And on top of that, what happens? The old man, someone comes out of the Indian shop, and the old man puts a gun in his mouth, thinking he's with me. This geezer's carrying a parcel. He thinks the parcel, I don't know what he thinks, but he puts the gun in the geezer's mouth, and the geezer's shitting himself, you know, half crying. It's nothing to do with him. And so the old man's coming towards me, so I run to my car and get something out of my boot. When I get something out of my boot, now the old man's gone because my thing's a little bit more powerful than what he's got. You know, so I'm running down the road after him, and I'm firing this thing, and he's very, very lucky that I didn't have the right things in it, because if I had the right things in it, it'd have blown his head off, you know what I mean? So he runs away, I get in the motor, I'm pouring my blood, and I shoot off, And my daddy keeps phoning me up. Did the old man shoot you? I went, what's the big thing about the old man shooting me? Yes, he did shoot me, shot me in the arm, yeah. And she said, I'll go to the hospital. I said, no, I ain't going to the hospital. I ain't going to do all that. And then I'll go around the house, right, to get away from it all. And what's he do? My Danny comes round first, right? She comes, no, sorry, beg your pardon. My Danny's with mum and dad, phoning me up, have I been shot? And I said, no. And she's saying, well, go home. I said, not going to go home yet, yeah? I'm driving around. My Danny goes home. She's home. I come in. I said, the old man shot me in the arm, Dan, you know? There's murders, mate. There's absolute murders. I'm picking the phone up, calling the old man all sorts of things. And then the old woman, walks out the back staircase to have a go at me. Dina can have a right fight, Dina Johnson, mate. She's a right handful. She's only little, but she could have a right fight. 5'2", 5'3". My daddy's 6 foot, but her mum was like tiny. And she's telling an elderly old the old man walks up behind with a big fireman's axe, goes to do me, but it's the top of the patio, you know, and then I nut him and it all goes off, kicks off, and this patio falls on my dog's foot. And then there's big rows. I knock the old man out, smash him out a bit, really smash him up, mate. And then I'm all cut. My arms are cut here, all around the back of my arms are cut, all around the sides are cut when I've gone for the patio. This arm's cut, all cut. It's done in a bad way, yeah? My legs all cut. So I've got to go to hospital, get stitched up, mate. I'm in a bad way, yeah? And plus my shoulder is pouring me blood and it's quite, not deep, but it's bad enough, yeah? And so when I go to the hospital, the old woman is driving me and the old man in her Golf. The old man's sitting in front, I'm sitting behind him. He wants to kill me. Then it got really out of hand, you know what I mean? Got to the hospital, put me in a cubicle, you know, like a thing, go in there, the old man's next door to me. The curtains dividing us, yeah? They're saying to me they've got to call the police because it's a wound, a shock wound, yeah, and all cut up and all that. I'm saying, well, if it's an accident, you know, and the old man's just saying he was in the car with me and he's had the accident with me, but you can see what's going on. And I'm on the bed, and the old man comes through the curtain with a scalpel. Tries to stab me with a scalpel. I get hold of his arm, we're fighting again in the hospital. The police are going to call, I'll go out. She said, you've got to wait here, the police go. I said, no, I'm gone. I'm gone back to my place. Danny comes across, she's going, oh, the police come, there's murders. I went, yeah, nothing happened, Dan. Don't forget, it was in the car smashed up, and this, that, and the other. They're going to ask where the car is, tell them where the car is, it's gone. Someone's took it, yeah? It's as easy as that, yeah? And they come and we did this and done that, and they looked at me and said, you've been shot. I said, look, I don't know. All of a sudden, I'm in the car, crash, and we have a mess up, and we come out of the car, we're gone. Right, anyway, it's not Danny, it's me, innit, by myself. But she's saying she's with me. And then, on top of all that, once all that's sorted out, and then the old man is definitely a schizophrenic psychopath. Without a shadow of a doubt, mate, he was a dangerous schizophrenic psychopath. He hated my guts so much, mate. You know, to want to kill me, who's the father of his grandchild. I'm his dad. You know what I mean? And it's like terrible. I'm the dad of the grandchild, and he wants to kill me. Yeah, and I'm looking after his daughter like it's going out of fashion because he's jealous. He's so jealous of me that I'm just he's nearly the same age as me, or I'm nearly the same age as him. And he can't make out his daughter's absolutely stunning and she's with me. But I was good looking geezer myself, but I was big, yeah. He can't make it, he's jealous of it, yeah. And then on top of all that, mate, I get a phone call from him. Oi, yeah, what's up? He said, you come out of the house, he said, and we're going to kill you. I said, that right, Mickey? He went, yeah. He says, a van pulled outside your house, and we're in a van waiting for you. I said, that's clever, isn't it, telling me, Mick? He said, yeah, you come out of the house, you're dead. I went, Mickey, behave yourself, mate. I said, there's you was in that van, there's no way you're going to tell me, mate. But now you tell me, I'm going to mark your cards. I'm going to the van with a fucking pump action shotgun and blast the van. So please yourself, what do you want to do? And he's getting quiet. So I went and got my thing, come back, went outside. Oh, listen, a load of cobblers, right? But he's gone. Don't worry about that, you're going, mate. We're across the way, we're going to do you. Anyway, I've done what I've got to do. I've got a little wall for PK. I've gone through the park, round the back. It's quite dark over the back, and I can see them in a car, four-handed, waiting for me. I've gone beyond, bang, 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 it jammed. That's the trouble of having automatics. No point, the automatics no good. You start doing that, going crazy, they jam up. I let 3 or 4 go, and it jammed up, you know, and the car was gone. You know what I mean? And if it hadn't been jammed up, I'd have let out 8 or 9 shots and they'd have had it. Yeah, they'd have been in trouble. But it jammed up, it was too far away, the bullets were going all over the gaff, yeah? And they went. And after that, my Danny, me and her had murders, big murders about her old man and this, that and the other. And one day she went back to mum and dad's house, and I'd got real pissed off of it, yeah? Real bad pissed off of it. I mean, unbelievable. And I thought to myself, because what happened, my Danny, the old man, gave us his Rottweiler. Danny's Rottweiler, it was Danny. But I had a bulldog and 2 bull mastiffs. The 2 bull mastiffs stayed in the garden. His Rottweiler, which I didn't want anyway, was around the kitchen area, and my bulldog was around the front room. I didn't want it like that. Dogs in my house running around all their carpets and that shit, yeah? So his Rottweiler was a bit vicious. It was Danny's dog. But my bulldog, he was mad. He was nuts. He got through, I had these doors, like stable doors, yeah, and got going from the kitchen up. He'd hit this stable door with his nut, and he'd gone through the stable door. He'd smashed the lock, and he'd gone into the Rottweiler, and he steamed into the Rottweiler, and he was going to kill it, mate, this bulldog. He was going to kill it. I pulled these 2 apart, right, put the Rottweiler outside on the patio into the kennel, and kept my bulldog in there with me. The Rottweiler's got big bites all around its neck and around its paws. The bulldog's okay. So now Danny is fighting with me about the way things are going, this, that and the other, how I was towards the old man, this, that and the other. So my Danny then leaves me again. Just gone. Can't believe it. She's just always going to my mum and dad's house. So I'm like, I can't take this, it's driving me nuts, right? But she's took the Rottweiler, and she's also took my bulldog. So I'm not happy. So I want my bulldog back. It's my dog. And I've got 2 bull mastiffs, but I also want my bulldog. Oh, what? I goes round the house, and it's quiet in the house, yeah? I go round the back door, put my thing up behind over the top, so under the back door, and my bulldog comes running towards me, and all of a sudden he stops and he's pulled back. He's got a big chain, massive chain, thick chain with padlock on it around his neck, and a big chain going to a wall where he's been chained in the garden, and he can't go nowhere. I'm going mad trying to undo the chain. I can't undo it. Danny, I'm going mad, and they're smashing the door. No one's coming down or nothing. So what I done, I got a ladder out of the shed, put it up the wall, up the back wall, to the back window, and went up the ladder, put my hand through the top, opened the window. As I went, put my hands over the top to open the window. As I opened the window, the old man went bang. I just swear on my look, the old man shot at me. Right, I swear to God, if he never had one eye, he'd have killed me. He'd have blew my head off. The bullet went over my head. Woo! It's gone. Mate, it knocked me off the ladder. I come off the ladder like a lunatic, went backwards. Right, lucky the garden had a pond, that big pond, like a big swimming pool pond sort of thing. And I went in there, yeah, with all this coir carp. So bosh, the old man's now, he's coming down, he wants to go, I'm gone. I'm going over the back wall into the next garden, so I'm going to go around the back. But the old man now, he's got in his car, he's come around the back, he's chasing me. I'm soaking wet with water. I'm running down the road. I want to get back to my house as quickly as possible. And the old man can't get to the way I've gone, through the park and all that way, right? I thought, is he waiting around my house? Is he waiting for me to come back? Is he in the garden? Is he here? Is he that? You know what I mean? But he ain't. I'll go home and he ain't around. I go upstairs, take all my clothes off, come downstairs, get in the shower, wash all myself, put some new clothes on, also have a lot of Lacoste tracksuits, yeah? Put the Lacoste tracksuit on, put a nice t-shirt on, and now I'm looking for him, big time. He's without a shadow of doubt, he's trying to kill me, mate. Well, he got away with it, wasn't he? Up the ladder, trying to get anyway. But I want him bad, mate. I want him bad. I really want him bad. So I used to go around the park, Gunsbury Park, Richmond Park, every morning with the dogs. 12 mile round. And I used to see the old man with my son. How do you think I felt? It's my boy. The old man had taken him around the park to aggravate me, yeah? Just to aggravate me. So I'm taking my dogs around the park this day, around the park thinking I'm going to see the old man. I don't see the old man, he ain't coming out with my son. So I'm walking around the park, keep walking around the park with my dogs, he ain't around. So I take my dogs home, yeah, put them in the back of the car, gone home. I'll go home, walk around the back, put the dogs in the garden, up the stairs. He's in my house. The old man is in my house. But he's in my house with his wife and my daddy. And I'll go in there and I'm going, absolutely bombs. Right, I want him out of my house. I want you out of my house, Mickey. I want you to gone out of my house. I don't want you in my house. Get out. All of a sudden, he walks by me to go. What does he do? You won't believe it, mate. He hits me on the chin. I swear. It's like being hit by my little boy, and my little boy's only a baby. And I said to him, is that all you got, Mick? I said, you're in trouble, mate. I bashed him up, mate. Something terrible, mate. I bashed him up, something terrible. The worst one out of that lot was my Danny and the old woman Dina. They steamed into me like men. Battered me, mate, smashed me. Didn't batter me, smash me, but they hurt me, yeah. They just kept smashing me with all sorts of things, yeah. I left the old man on the kitchen floor, spark out, yeah. Come on, the old man hit me first, I didn't hit him. And I was just defending myself. Danny's gone mad, the old woman's gone mad, they're bashing me up. I knew then that it's time for me to get out of the house or for Danny to go. Or for Danny to go with Mum and Dad, you know. And I decided that it was better for Danny to go with her Mum and Dad. But before this, I'm walking up my back way to come in, and I've been stabbed with a foot-me bit screwdriver right through my back. Wallop! Right, and whoever it was ran, and I pulled the screwdriver out my back. pulled it out my back, blood squirting all over the gaff, chased this geezer, and I more or less collapsed because I lost so much fucking blood, mate. I just went all dizzy, yeah? And then got to go back up the hospital. Don't forget, I've been shot, been stabbed. Oh, mate, I'm always up this hospital, Kingston Hospital, you know? Anyway, everything's sorted out. I get done up, I get bandaged up, I get put this crystal stuff in my hole, a hole in my shoulder. Everything's done. Now, the old man and the old woman are not very well. They're not very well, mate. They're ill. And I know what it is, but I ain't going to say on my phone what happened. Very, very close to Johnny Bindon. Very close. The family, very close. Like, he's round there all the time. So you can half imagine what the old man was in prison for 12 years or 8 years. And the old Bindon was always round there with my mother-in-law. You can imagine what was going on. And he said, anyway, not saying no more, but they're ill. They're very ill. And one day I'll come round there. Danny's mum, I'm out of order of what I did. Danny's mum comes to the window, looked a mess, mate. Her hair shaved off, looked a mess. She's run a bad way, and I started laughing. And I went, am I out of order? Of course I'm out of order, you know what I mean? More than enough, I'm out of order. So I went to myself, Danny's come out, she's crying, she wants to kill me, Danny. She's worse than the old man. So I went back home. Then I hear the old man died, first of all, and then Dina died. And then I was gutted, mate, because this ruined me and my Danny. It ruined everything, you know. She just give up on me, yeah. And the old man died, and Dina died. I wasn't allowed to go to the funeral. They got cremated, but I was even more of a nutcase then. It made me more of a nutcase. When Danny didn't want to know me, and the father-in-law and the mother-in-law and my Danny used to take my kids, right, to Richmond Park, and it was to a place where they had benches, and they used to sit on the benches and feed all the squirrels with nuts and things like that, and they had these big trees and big fences around it, yeah. So I walked up there with a big plastic bag, and I knew that Danny, with my kids, or with my son, would go there and sit on the bench, more than likely put all the ashes around the tree, because they made a plaque as well. I must have been so sick. Must have been so sick, mate, and he had to do what I'd done. I went up there, right, and I noticed that there was all ashes around the tree. So I put all the ashes into a plastic bag, you know, a bin bag, and put the bin bag just by the chair. Start to walk around Richmond Park. You ain't got to walk far in Richmond Park to find deer's poo, dog poo. You ain't got to walk far. So I've got as much poo as I could possibly find, put it into another plastic bag. Just by my hands, bump in, bump. Gone mad, mate, crazy. Under coke, I'm on coke, I'm even worse. On steroids, coke and steroids, I'm like a lunatic. So I put all the poo around the tree and around the bench. I then go to Danny's house, where she's living with her mum and dad's house, in Cobham Road in Kingston. Knock on the door, and she don't come to open the door. She just looks out the window and tells me to F off. I went, okay. I said, see your mum and dad's ashes. They're in here. She went, don't you dare do that. I'll kill you. That'd be it, mate. I went, see you. Do you don't really care? And outside her house, there's a drain. How can anybody do that? What I did. You know what I mean? It's terrible, mate. I tipped all the ashes of her mum and dad down the drain. My daddy didn't think it was. I walked back to my house. The next thing I knew, the old bill crashing on my door to come in. They can't come out of the back because there's 2 bull mastiffs around here, so they come out the front. And my front's all gated up and everything, right? So what they do, they get a ladder up to my kids' bedrooms. I rushed to my kids' bedrooms. I was big as an house. They shit themselves, come down the ladder like a lunatic. I come down and let them in. I said, what's up? They said, we got reason to believe that you took your mother and father's ashes and put them down the, down the drain outside Danny's house, of mum and dad's house. Is that correct? I said, nah. I said, I wouldn't do that. Well, it's crazy to do that. You've got to be completely in that case. Well, Danny said that you've gone to the part of the park and put all dog's poo around there, deer poo around there and all that. I said, yeah, I did. So what's wrong with that? Yeah, but the ashes, I said, there was no ashes there when I done that. I said, the only reason I've done that is because Danny was going to take some ashes around there, so I thought I'd do it so Danny wouldn't be able to do it. I said, no, mate, no, I wouldn't do that, mate. I'm not crazy. It's her word against my word, they let it go. They let it go. Danny went absolutely mad. Mad. She went absolutely bombs. But before that happened, the old man with Jimmy Ward and other people, 25 grand to hit me away, to take me away and kill me. It just come on top. But for me to get the statement sent to me, not the statement, to send me the deposition sent to me by my son in Australia. My son in Australia sent it to me via phone. You know, my son. So that means my ex-woman sent that to my son for him to send that to me, that I was going to be chopped by a guy called Jimmy Ward. I feel that the old man was involved with it. They were going to chop me. They tried to chop me, mate, more than once, maybe 4 or 5 times. And I'm lucky to be alive, mate. I'm lucky to be alive, you know. And the only thing is now, my son, my boy, my big boy, Sonny, is in Australia. He plays rugby. He's as big as an house. He's 19, 20 stone. Massive. Big, powerful kid. He wants to kill his dad because of what I did about the ashes and all that, but you can't blame him. He's been back to England once. He phoned me up asking my address and would give me and said, no point. No, I don't want to fight my son. He bashed me up anyway. So I don't want to fight my son. My daughter, Ruby Ray, never really seen her. I see her as a baby, but I got put in prison for a big sentence. Never really seen my daughter Ruby Ray. She's absolutely stunning. Been told that she's in America. I'm not quite sure if she's a model in America or what. But she's really stunning. She's like her mum, very tall, leggy, and absolutely beautiful. My boy, he won't give me her phone number. He won't tell me where she is or nothing like that. My boy doesn't talk to me. It's a funny old situation. Danny, my ex-girlfriend, her mum and dad are really staunch. Her mum and dad were so staunch, right? They wouldn't tell you anything unless they needed to, yeah? You couldn't get nothing out of them. Nothing at all out of them. Danny, she's exactly the same. You can't get nothing out of my Danny. Not a thing. So my Danny says to her kids, you don't give Ray, your father, addresses, phone numbers or anything. You don't tell him where I am. And they won't. It's all staunch. The family's staunch and they're all staunch. I was in the scrubs on an IPP sentence. Was in there 2.5, 3 or 4 years, 3.5 years. Danny had lost her house in Kingston, sold it or whatever she did. Her dad's house, my place, sold it. She then moved opposite the scrubs. There's flats. They give her a flat there. How can anybody that's got 2 properties, big properties, and lots of money be skint and move into council houses across the road from the scrubs and never come to see them, never come to see me? It guts me that she got on the coke really, really bad. Someone's took liberty, someone's took all the money. Gutted, you know what I mean? I mean, don't forget, I've not seen my boy since he was about 4 or 5. Not seen my daughter since she was a baby. That's only 2 of my kids. My other kids I see, but them 2, come on, they're the last 2 that I had that I want to see, because I live with them kids. The other kids I didn't live with, but I live with these kids, so I want to see them. You know, it breaks my heart, that my boy won't tell me anything. You know what I mean? But is he proud of me for being who I am? No, he ain't. He couldn't care. He don't care about his dad being some sort of gangster, some sort of villain. He ain't bothered about that. Get on with it, Dad. Get on with it. My other kids, my other boys, all about me. They love their dad. They love me being who I am, a gangster, a villain, this, that and the other. But he, my sonny, he don't give monkeys. He couldn't care. He couldn't care. All he cares about is one day coming to England and coming to see me, right, as a man. And he will do as a man. Because when I went in prison, I was told that my boy, right, become a proper handful. Nicking coke, nicking puff, nicking everything down to me. He couldn't give a monkey's, mate. He would fight anybody. He was just like his dad in so many ways, yeah. Complete out and out nutcase. It's a shame that everything's gone like it has now. You know what I mean? That I don't see him. I don't see my daughter, Ruby Ray, and Danny, my ex. My son told me that she's not very well. Come on, I want to see her, man. I want to see her. And I just want to talk to her, you know what I mean? And how can you say sorry to somebody that loved their mum and dad, and I put the ashes down the drain? Mate, it ain't on, is it? And she's never going to forgive me, mate. Never ever going to talk to me again in my life. Never. I was disgusted because now I don't see my kids. You know what I mean? It's life, man. You got, you know what I mean? You got, and that's what guts me about the way my life's been. Little bits of my life, that's little bits, yeah. But I've got loads of other things that's happened, big shootings and stabbings and everything in my other life. Come on. But this is Danny, my girlfriend, and her mum and her dad. There's bits and pieces there that I haven't even told you yet. Other bits and pieces. You know, it is mad. It is mad. Anyway, just a little video. This is Bang Bang Rail. Please press the like button and subscribe. And thanks very much for all your subscribers. Take care. Nice one. Bye.